Hi, how y'all doing today? Have you ever wondered how you can travel without having good or excellent credit? Well, follow me today and we're going to talk about that. Right now, I am in Australia and I am on a self healing, healing tour, sabbatical, what I call a long-cation. Initially, I was going to be returning back to the U.S. within a few months, but then I found out I misunderstood the requirements of my visa, and as it turned out, my visa is actually good for a year and a half. But I have to go in and out of the country every 6 months, and there's several neighboring countries that are a lot closer where I leave and come back in, and there's no time frame. I have some more house and pet sits coming up. Okay. Uh, this particular sit that I'm on, this is my fifth house sit, and is also going to be my eighth house sit. It was repeat. If I would, like I said, if I would have understood the requirements of my visa, I probably would have got more because she had this particular couple had several open dates that they were looking for, but I thought my cutoff was going to be one date. But anyway, but I'd have booked other sits, so I like longer sits. Um, Preferably 3 weeks minimum, 3 weeks to 2 months is the house sits that I appreciate. I can, I don't have to be very tight with my um, purchase, food purchase. A lot of times, by the time I figure out what I need for my food, um, I will have been to the store several times. I'm kind of picky. I didn't realize I was that picky of an eater, but I am. So, and I found out that I like to cook too. All right. So, what's it like on this particular sit? Every house is different. She does canning, pickling. Um, she had a count sheet, and I'll be honest with you. I've had a couple of jars of her stuff, and it is good. She got that down. She was at a store before COVID. During COVID, the store that she was had contract with got sold, and so she doesn't have that contract anymore. So I'll probably buy a few jars from her when I get ready to leave. When I come back and get ready to leave the second time, because I'll be traveling for the most part by train to different locations. Um, this particular one, she has allowed me to leave my big suitcase here, and I'm going to do that. Naturally, I'll take out, most everything non personal, any sensitive documents or something like that, I will be taking with me. But stuff that I really haven't used, some wellness items, the ones that I use more than twice a week, I will take with me. The other ones are, I can leave. I'll lock them up in the suitcase and uh, seal it up pretty good. But I'll be back here, like I said, in 3 weeks for a 3 week sit. The dog and the pets here seem to be okay. The dog is kind of chill. The cat is a little bit feisty. What I've done with the cat is kind of give gentle reinforcements. When I come back, we'll see. The main thing is that the pet is safe, but he's very nosy. But the dog, he sleeps in the bed, and but he just started, but he's very sensitive. I the first two nights he wouldn't come get in. Well, the first 2 nights he missed the owner, and that's common. He wouldn't get into bed. And after that, the third and fourth night, he gets in the bed, but he's so sensitive, and I was sneezing. What I don't like, well, he got in the bed, and because of my fidgeting around, part of his sneezing, he's very edgy. Apparently, he was from his early years were in an abusive pet relationship, and so he's still kind of shell shocked from some of that stuff. So, um, but yeah, he's pretty sensitive, and he got to a point where when I get into bed after my second movement, he's getting down and coming out. So I usually have the bed to myself. But the last, let's see, last night he spent most of the time in there, but I gotta be a little. One day he didn't get out his second walk. Um, well, what it was a mix up. There was a backup walker for him, and apparently she had not walked him in a while, and he refused to go on a walk for her. I got ready to go to bed, and I was winding down, and he wanted to go out walking, and I was like, "No way, I'm not. No, you gave up your chance." He got mad at me and wet the bed, so I had to wash the sheets. But um, you'll get, pets have personalities and they have feelings and tantrums and stuff like that. The whole, you know, but um, but it was a different kind of. It wasn't a. Apparently, it was an angry wet because it was not yellow. It was no yellow pea smell to it. It was just wet. So I don't. That's interesting. So I'm sure any man knows about animals and pets and stuff like that. They can better address that. Okay. So what I didn't like I said, there's going to be every sit is different for me. Um, I when I first got here, I had severe allergies, a lot of sneezing. I probably went through a box and a half of tissue the first might have been 8 or 9 hours. Wasn't even a full day. Um, and initially the pet owner, they were still here. She was afraid that I was allergic to the pet. I had to go out and buy a filter for the AC heater system that got removed a couple of years ago and got misplaced. And I mean, like I said, she has a lot of stuff. So the I call it the cage, the holder for the filter. And here the filters are one, you get a big, and I've already packed it up. You get a big, oh, here it is right here. You get a big carbon sheet. And I love it. It's a carbon sheet. I don't know if you can see that. It has the measurements on it. Basically, you cut it the size, and in this particular case, I didn't see the cage, but it's a firm piece. I cut it. It's like a styrofoam type consistency. I was able to cut it, lay it over the thing. I think that was the second day I was here. Once I figured out, uh, I had to ask her about the AC because at first we thought it was the dog, and then I thought it was something else. And I stripped the bed, the sheeting. Um, there's a few things. The main thing was the air filter. Um, the second thing that it was, and because of the air, well, no, part of her creativity, she makes her own detergent, and I realized I was allergic. I'm allergic to the detergent that she uses. So the bedding had, after I dealt with the dust, I washed the bedding probably 3 or 4 times and hung them up. In Australia, the majority of households have manual clotheslines that you hang up. They get a lot of sun. A lot of places have their own solar heating system. During the daytime, they get quite a bit of sun, and basically that's, I would hang it up only to bring it back in, and I would still be sneezing. So I changed up the soap. I washed it here, but then I end up taking it out to the laundromat to dry. And that way, once I did that, that cut down, but not the allergies anymore. Um, what else did I do here? You're solving problems. So I did go and uh, she has a vacuum here. I did go and get the bags that she had here were not the right size, so I did go and buy some bags um, for the vacuuming. That the dog, and most dogs don't like vacuum cleaners. Whenever I turn that thing on, he gets lost. So The cat is pretty indifferent, but the dog is, you know, mm-mm. And a lot of people, they don't, when they're younger, they think it's funny and they chase after the dog with the vacuum, stuff like that. And that's, because I remember when we were younger, we used to do it. So now that I'm older and I see the effect that it has on animals, I don't, I don't, that's that's a game that I don't play with. Um, but going in having expectations of, for me, the expectation, well, first of all, the expectation was that I was only going to be here for a lot shorter time frame. And so then once that expectation got blown out the water, for lack of a better word, I needed to change and adjust what I was doing as far as uh, spending my time, spending money. I'm no longer classify myself as a tourist or a temporary visitor. I'm a long. I will, instead of not a vacation or some people call it a holiday. I'm not here for that. I'm here for a long-cation. I'll be here for over a year. Um, things go right and I, do what I need to do. I'll be here for over a year. So I needed to change some things. Um, like I said, the pets are decent. I need to pay better attention. I'm a good sitter. I do. I'm a good sitter. I really like pets. Well, dogs and cats. Pets are, wide range. Dogs and cats. I would like to learn how to do chickens, and I think I'm okay with fish. I don't do birds. I don't do birds. I don't do horses. I don't do um excessive farm animals. I could probably do maybe one sheep or two, but some of these places they have a lot of animals, and my count so far is three. It could be two cats and a dog. It could be a cat and a dog, like this is here, a cat and a dog. It can be, I don't want three dogs and I don't want three cats. Okay. And the cat, I'll put it like this: I can do more cats if they are outside cats. I've indoor cats is a thing, you know, from my experience, unless if a cat is indoor by choice, which usually means that there's some level of pain or the cat doesn't feel comfortable being out in the open or something like that, I'm okay with that. But I have a problem with what I call trapped cats, which is basically the owner doesn't want them to go outside, and so they block and um, threaten them and all kind of stuff, run out, and the cats never see outside. Um, I will do it, but I really don't like. Well, the main thing with that is to find out why the homeowner doesn't want the animal outside. Um, I did have a couple of what they said they don't want. They were scared the cat is going to get away. I was able to, block the exits, the escape routes, and um, most of the time it's a reaction from the pet owner overemphasizing the ability of the cat, and maybe the cat was able to jump that high, but most of them have very high um, fences and gates that maybe a cat at one time was able to jump up there, but most of the time, and honestly, even if they do, a dog and a cat, a pet, if you got a feeding time, they'll be back. They'll figure out a way to get back to you to eat. So, you know, um, but now they might get stolen, but even at that, somebody who steals a cat or a dog, that means that responsibility is now theirs. And a lot of people don't necessarily want that responsibility. And and there's other things that can happen. They might get hit or something like that. Um, but I know not sure about cats, but I know dogs can be taught how to cross the street. So I've seen it all my life. Okay. All right. And now I said, what's the area like? Okay. This particular area, Melbourne, is south of the main city, Melbourne. I don't go out a lot. I'm pretty much a homebody, and also now because of, like I said, the length of stay. When you go out, you spend money, and yeah, I mean that's like that in the States. It's no different here. Um, I really there are some. I'm finding out that there are some inexpensive stores around, not too far. The area, and it's like that. It's in a lot of non-American cities that the grocery stores are not far for major services, grocery store, laundromats. This particular area is a little bit further to walk. I mean, if I was moving around, the the grocery stores are a little bit further apart, not like they are in the U.S., but you got a little bit of a walking to do. In this particular case, I was able to use the car. The homeowner had this car um, that I use occasionally. I I like having a car available when I get there, just because it cuts down on so much time. Um, if it's not when I get there, I want the homeowner to take me out for the grocery store. Try to do a few things before they leave, because I generally the first 2 days I'm gonna be there with the pet. I don't leave. The pet doesn't know me. All this in and out. That's just me. So maybe some people they don't really mind, but I don't. I try to stick around. Like I said, I'm a homebody. Um, I got this blanket on because it's a little cool in here. Um, you know, I try to I want to be comfortable when I sit, and I get shivers. A lot of people they like it cold, but I get shivers to the point of a few things happen to my physical body when I get the shivering, and so I do my best to work with that. But you know, uh, here I added more blanket. I have more blankets on the bed right now. The dog sleeps in the bed. His best time is to get there before I get in the bed. Because once I get in the bed, I move around a lot. Like I said, I'm coughing and sneezing. My night habits are just disruptive, and he's a very sensitive sleeper. So he likes to get in there before I get in there to get his good sleep out, and then the rest of the time he usually comes out here and sleeps out on the couch. Um, but the area is decent. This is probably considered, judging from the houses, is probably considered upper middle class. The houses here are not big at all. Um, Trying to think, they might be split level. Well, there's an apartment building down. Well, I say apartment building might be what do you call it? It's a lot of churches down here. Uh, mm, what's the word? Dormitory style. A place down the street from here look like it might be 2 stories, maybe three on the corner. But most of the houses are like this, single level. Um, the people have small cars here, no big trucks unless they're like doing construction. Um, but yeah, the land here, I guess, is fairly inexpensive compared to the U.S. The exchange rate here for every dollar, the dollar here is 67 cent American money gets a dollar here. Okay, um, and it fluctuates. I've been here now for a little bit over 2 months. When I got here, it was at 66.5%. It got up to 67, and it got down to six right now, 65 in some odd sense. But but it's right now, it's in that basically of two-thirds of an American dollar is equivalent to a dollar here. Okay. Um, okay. And I talked about the reasons for my sabbatical. It's just to heal. Um, I'm a co-author of a book, Wisdom Gifts, the Finding and Embracing the Legacy of Our Lessons. Um, it is a bestseller. But my mother, before she passed, she said she was scared of being a single mom. So she allowed some stuff to happen, boundaries to be crossed. And because of that fear um, of being a single parent, she allowed things to happen. She basically demonized me. And I talk about it in the chapter, what happened with my relationship there. I've just decided that I wasn't going to do anymore. And it was interesting. There's a lady on the internet. I'm not sure if she African speaking or Jamaican. I'm not sure what an accent. And she's asking for dinner, and they give her a salad, and she's fussing saying this is not dinner. This is a rabbit food, and she's fussing about that. And but she's calling off. I mean, people who were, vegetarian and vegan, they probably were like, oh, that's food. But one thing she said that really stuck out, like she said, Americans normalize dysfunction. That could be so the range of that. I realized it was like, yeah, all this, I've always known something was wrong with my relationship with my authority figures. When I was 16, I had a friend in high school that apparently I was acting out, and that was the first encounter that I had with a therapist. Her mom was a therapist, and we were supposed to be hanging out together. And I went to her house, and I remember basically her mom put me out. And her mom was just like, "No, my daughter's not going to put up with that. And she can't see you anymore." Coming up in a dysfunctional environment, you miss something. Part of that is being able to accept authority properly. I don't trust them. I don't understand men, which is sad because I have um a son that I took it upon myself to, at the time I didn't realize it. I just knew that I didn't want him to feel about himself what I felt growing up. And part of that I realized at that time was decision making, that I would instill in him to trust his own decision from a very young age. We basically, and I didn't realize it until there's another video interview with a lady, somebody I had never heard of, but apparently she was uh, pretty common. But she said something. She said her husband passed away when their daughter was young, like 3 or 4 years old. And she said, and I basically told my daughter, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help with this. And that's pretty much what I did with my son. I just knew that the relationship that I had with my parents I didn't feel good about that. There was a lot of mistrust. There was standoffishness. Um, most of our conversations were shallow, kind of like how you doing today, but nothing real earth, like how do you feel, and let's talk about this. So I had these extremes from being, I guess it's called passive aggressive, being quiet for so long until I couldn't stand it anymore, then I would just explode. Um, and so, and unfortunately, a lot of those explosions happened within. I would, self sabotage and, depression. But anyway, getting back to being able to accept lessons. With a program now, I've been with the program now probably 7 or 8. Let me see. Yeah, 14. Oh gosh, almost 9 years. Financial literacy, and it's a good program. They got tools that I use, but getting my credit straight and all that stuff. I can't. I figured out that I could not take, because it's headed by two great guys, um, but I can't take lessons from them. I just I'm gonna figure out this thing. But anyway, being able to travel is a choice. Making a decision to travel, which is what I did, is a choice. Um, you have I put it like this. I had a choice of paying off all my bills and being what I would call stuck. It was a serious accident. Driving on the expressway, got a car that was going in front of me. They ran over something, and their car directly basically knocked me into the median wall. All the airbags deployed on the car except for one. The car was totaled. I didn't lose any limbs. I ended up being between the hospital and rehab. I ended up being a month, and probably, let's see, February, October, November, December, January. I spent 3.5 months inside in the house. I had to be transported by ambulance to the house because I couldn't walk on one foot, and we stayed at the top of the hill. Um, but during that month, I decided that I was going to, when the realization hit me that I could have died in that accident, just the whole thing of what happened, you know, I got out of the car and come to find out I was on the freeway, and it just guardian angels all around me in the car, driving by. Even the guy that helped me, that hit me, actually helped to get me out of the car because I thought I was on fire. I decided that life was too short and I was going to do what I want to do, and that was travel. I've always wanted to travel since I've been a young girl. At the time when I was younger, I would go to the museums and the library or something just to kind of get away, go for walks. I think I tried to run away one time until it got late at night and I saw it was really crazy out. Um, and so I came back. I might have been 14 at the time. I think I might have been, yeah, either 14 or 15 at the time. And I think I got back home. I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I was stressed out, but I knew it was something wrong. It was just my emotional survival depending on me was not being there. Was, you know, um and so I wanted to travel, and I for a long time. Um and so different times I get a little bit of money and I make some payments into the bills that I had. Then I wouldn't have no money, and then I couldn't do it, and just not being able to figure out how to travel inexpensively. It's like I would go a place and I would might be gone for 3 or 4 days, and I run out of money, didn't know how to handle it, didn't know tools that are available out here. And recently I've been exposed to being able to travel, the accommodations, which is what I do now, house and pet sitting, that honestly, um, people that don't look like us have been doing this for years. They have insurance. You pay for it as an annual fee. They have insurance, and insurance is both ways. You get liability insurance in case you got, in this case, is a dog. The dog is very friendly, but in case I got out one day and the dog ran off and bit somebody or bit their dog, it will pay for that. Um, but I made a decision that I was going to travel. Um, and some of the bills that I have, they didn't get paid. They're not getting paid. And it's not a lot. I'm in my 60s and you see I got gray hair. And it has taken me in my 60s before I decided that I was going to travel extensively. So the program is out there for anybody to get a hold of. I just decided that I was going to try, and that's one of the things that I do is, and I'm not going to talk a lot about that. What I do, I coach people on how to travel with less than good credit. Black women are doing this. So I've started doing meditation, and we could talk about that, but doing some releasing meditations, and some of the stuff is my stuff, some of the stuff is not my stuff, and there's a lot of it is not my stuff, and I'm letting it go. um but yeah, uh but you can get on there, use the platform, find you some house sits, cut your costs. You can uh use your expertise in whatever it is to start doing some coaching. There are online platforms that you could use. If you're from America, you could actually work at some places, some of the hostels or hostels. I forgot, I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm gonna say hostel because I hostel is, to me, is another word that black people are exposed to worldwide, but in the US has another uh, terminology. Black women from the US, oh, we have to stop saving it. We gotta stop. We gotta get our rest. We gotta get, now one thing I've done all my life, I've always got my naps. I've always got a little bit enough rest to keep going. I've had corporate jobs. I don't do that no more. I don't, corporations, they, all this fancy stuff on the outside, woo woo woo, or you get on the inside and it is sheer terror for black people, especially, well, I would say black men, but in the case of black men, a lot of times they just get fired. They get fired or let go for little or nothing. A lot of stress. A lot of them end up in jail. That's part of the corporate system in America too. But black women have to you have to put up with stuff. You got to put up with, we know what we got to put up with in these work environments. You got to put up with the hostile employees, with the white women that are jealous of you. They tell you all the stuff, that stuff, the usual stuff. They're jealous of this, that, and the other. Your lips, your nose, your butt, and they're running out paying big dollars to get it. So it's a catch-22. But yeah, um, but this is the way, just to get out, relax, take a sabbatical, leave. In my particular case, I'm gone for a little while, but when you get on for the coaching would be, I'll tell you the specific details, and there's a worksheet that I'll send out to you when you book. We'll go through the worksheet, and I'll just, based on what it is that you're looking for, we'll just talk about what it is that's available out there. And my experience is someone that, I don't have a lot of money. I do have some money, but you can still travel with very little money. You don't need to have no, $30,000-$40,000 set aside to take a long vacation. I'm on a long-cation now for over a year, and I'm making do with what I have. Um, cutting some costs, but the main reason that I came out was to get mental rest. I needed to be by myself. I'm one of these people. I don't like to be around a lot of people. I like to be by myself for long periods of time. I mean, I could go on. I've been on house sits for 3 weeks, and I'm only left the house maybe twice to get groceries. I'm okay. I'm a homebody. I don't mind at all. This particular one, I go out a few times because the dog here requires twice a day walks. That's his schedule, which is fine with me because that kind of puts me on a little bit on a schedule and it gets me exercise. So I don't mind at all. But yeah, but book if if you're curious about now, if you got great credit and you could travel and um stay places for long. But even if you do have good, I put it like this: even if you do have good credit, you can still always figure out a way to save a combination to save some money, save your sanity, extend. You probably got pockets of money hiding away somewhere that you're scared to spend. Talking about retirement. That's what I call myself doing. Retire. What the money's to spend. We can make money later. And I've gotten to that point. Um, jobs are everywhere. So yeah, but yeah, if you want to talk, I put the link in the description. You could click on that and book a session, 30 minutes, and we could talk, um, guided 30 minutes conversation that we could talk about. Okay. Um, I think that's it. Using what you have to make money. Yep, that's it. So if you're in, like I said, if you're interested and you are a black woman in the U.S. and you're looking to get off that hamster wheel, the ham that's killing us, that's killing black women. The stress level of being in the U.S. without it, how can I word it? Know what's available. I'll put it like that. Know what's available. If you decide to stay, it could be a decision. Don't feel let's let's get out of this feeling trapped in America, in the US. You don't have to be it could be a bad and hostile job. It could be a bad and hostile relationship, spouse, um don't you just want to you might be good with all of that, but you just want options. Let's talk about it. Book a session with me and I can tell you the different ways that you can save money and travel, get your sanity back. Okay. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye bye.